Hey, Facebook Live. So listen, we are getting ready to start another reading from my book, Rise Up, Shine On. It's Wednesday. So in case you haven't known, it's Wednesday. It's time to read a passage from my book and to give you a message. Hello, Candy. So if you have one, tell me hello. I love to see who is hopping on live. So listen, I'm going to read you a part of my book today. Today's message might be a little tough for some people, okay? Today's message was a very hard time in my life. So if anybody watching has ever gone through any type of sexual abuse, this chapter is maybe one that might resonate with you. So you're going to hear of a time in my life that I was sexually abused. And then I just want to talk to you about it. So I'm sorry if this strikes a nerve for some, but I think the message that you need to hear after I'm done, I think you need to hear. So if you're watching this live, comment a 1. If you are watching the replay, which some will later, comment a 2. And I am really excited for you guys to be hopping on and supporting me. So if you're excited to hear a reading, send me some hearts. I love seeing hearts across the screen. All right. So today's message, whoa, the cat is jumping, is coming from chapter 8 in my book, okay? So chapter 8 of Rise Up, Shine On, my book, that came out July 4th, it launched. So we've been 6, 7, 8, we're in 8 months. 8 months of my book launch. I have my shirt on today. Look, it says, she needed a hero, so that's what she became. Rise Up, Shine On. So I have my shirt on, and I have my new necklace that Pure Romance sells from our Euphoria collection. So I'm feeling loved today. All right, so you guys are going to hear some responses of how I reacted to this chapter. So I want to kind of put you guys where you are, or where I am in this book. Chapter 8, I am in middle school. So I am in 8th grade when this situation occurred. There's a lot in chapter 8, a lot. So a lot of situations happened. A lot of things went down in this chapter. I'm only going to read you a small part of it, and that's just the small part that has to do with my sexual abuse. And I hope that my story can maybe help heal somebody who's ever gone through that pain and hurt. If you're brave enough to comment a 3, if you've ever gone through any type of sexual abuse in your life, feel free to comment a 3 so I know who I resonate with. If you don't want to tell, that's fine. You don't need to comment a 3. But sometimes I like to know that I'm not alone. So if anybody has ever gone through any type of sexual abuse in their life, I would love if you wanted to comment a 3. And so I hope that my message today that has to deal with sexual abuse, I hope it does help some people who might need to heal, or somebody who has gone through that. So chapter 8, like I said, has a lot of stuff in it. I'm not going to tell you about everything in chapter 8. You'd have to get the book and read it yourself. But I would love for you guys to get it and hear everything, because I'm missing so much, by just giving you snidbits every week. Like, God, it's so jam-packed full of information, okay? So definitely promise me you'll get a copy of my book by going to designingthelifeyouLove.com, okay? All right, so chapter 8. Every chapter, I do a quote that was a heartfelt quote for me. So every chapter has a quote. And so chapter 8 is, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop and look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. And that's from Eleanor Roosevelt. I love that quote, because I think that every situation we go through, even the darkest moments, like I'm getting ready to read you, which today has to deal with sexual abuse, I think that those things came in our path for a reason. And I'm not saying you deserve it by any means, but I'm saying you gain strength, and you gain confidence, and you gain courage in all those moments that you think you can't move on, and you think you can't heal. So I just feel like looking fear in the face is exactly what I did in this chapter. So to give you a little background, I'm in 8th grade here. My parents' bedroom was on the 2nd level. I was on the top level with my siblings. And we also had my stepmom. I'm so glad you read my book, Amy. We had my stepmom's brother staying with us for a little while. Now he is, and I'm giving you this for a reason, this description, because you're going to understand later when I tell you some personal things, okay? He was in his 40s. He had like gray hair. He had like a mustache. He had children, kind of like a medium to bigger build, not like, you know, kind of like just big, like a big man. So yeah, so that was him, okay? Had like almost like a little bald spot kind of right here, in his 40s, kind of like grayish silver hair. And that means something when I tell you my message at the end, okay? All right, so I'm going to flip over to, there's so many pages here, okay? So you have to get it to read the whole thing. All right, and there's going to be some parts that I leave out just because we are on Facebook Live and I may have minors watching right now and I don't want to startle anyone, okay? Here we go. The brother, my uncle, my step uncle basically, or my stepmom's uncle, in the book we're referring to him as Gilbert, okay? So when you hear Gilbert, that's who that is. If you hear the word Caleb, and I'm trying to like remember what we named everybody. Caleb is my brother in this book, okay? Just so you understand the names. All right, Leanne heard Gilbert. Oh, hold on. Oh, here we go. One night, Leanne was startled awake and when she was being choked. It took a few moments to realize that Gilbert was on top of her, with his arm over her mouth. He hissed for her to stop making noise, but Leanne was too confused to understand what was happening. She continued to gasp and squirm under his weight until he put a pillow completely over her face. The pillow made it impossible for her to breathe, and something inside her knew that she had to lay still and silent if she wanted to live. As in confirmation, she heard Gilbert whisper in her ear, "If you make any noise, I will kill you." She arched her neck so that she could get a sliver of air and continued to press the pillow against her. Leanne could hear him fumbling with things on her side table, and she felt his hand, now covered in lotion, slid under her pajamas. I'll skip this part. She felt his weight shift off of her, and the pillow slid away from her face. "I'll be right back. If you move, I will, bleep, kill you." So there was a cuss word in there. Leanne waited until she could hear his footsteps descending down the staircase before pushing the pillow completely off her face. She had heard the threat, but Leanne decided that she wasn't going to wait for him to return. Silently, she pulled her sheet and tiptoed down the hall towards her brother's room. Both of them were sleeping soundly, completely unaware of the drama that was unfolding around them. Leanne could hear Gilbert coming back upstairs, and in an instant, she slid under her youngest brother's bed. A moment later, after he had discovered she was missing from her room, Gilbert came in and looked around Caleb's dresser, in the closet, and around each bed. Leanne felt her breath begin to burn her lungs, but she didn't dare exhale. He took one last look around the room from the doorway. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want you to know if he found me. If he didn't, I don't want you to know any of that. You have to read my book. I also want you to know that I did have to confront that man. And it was not the prettiest. And these cats are going crazy right now. Can you stop? And so I did have to confront that man. And it's in my book of what happens after that. So I want to talk to you about healing after I get this cat. Okay. The cat is ruining my moment. Okay, so listen, there is a lot of people who have dealt with sexual abuse, and I have notes here that I want to make sure I hit on everything I wrote down for you. In 8th grade, I did deal with this, and again, it happened again in my book. So there are 2 times in my life that I talk about in my book that I was sexually abused. This is not the only time, okay? But here, and I know I'm not alone. I know there are people who have been sexually abused, and I have a message that I need you to hear from me, okay? Number one, it is never your fault. Never your fault. Please understand that. There are so many people who later the next day or afterwards, they keep running in their head over and over and over of what happened. What could they have done different? What if they did this? What if they did that? What if they would have yelled? What if they would have stopped? Listen, in a moment, your brain is like numb. Your body is numb. Just like I was laying on that bed, I was numb. I didn't know what to do. So yes, could I have screamed? Yes. But in that moment, you go into survival mode, okay? And you do whatever the hell it takes to survive in that moment. Whether that is lay there and play still, whether that is go along so that you don't, have to, you don't know what's going to happen next. Don't ever be angry of how you reacted to the situation. It's over. It's done with. You can't change it. But the only thing you need to know is it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't choose to do that to you. Somebody else chose to do that to you. That makes them weak, and it makes you strong because you're a survivor. Do you understand that? Okay, the next thing I need you to know, it takes time to heal. This is not something that is going to happen overnight. It's not. You're not going to heal overnight from this. I got computers lighting up everywhere. It will take time to heal. And I promise you, there are going to be times that you think you're healed and you are not. I'm getting ready to give you a situation. We had our carpets cleaned, I want to say about 4 months ago. And I literally had a flashback. And it doesn't happen very often, but it happens. And so I want to explain to you what happened, because this is normal. And if you've been sexually abused, you know that this happens. You have flashbacks sometimes. It crosses your mind. Something will make you think of it. And this is normal. So we had our carpets cleaned, okay? Madison's at school. John was at work. And the carpet cleaner guy comes. Well, he was supposed to come at noon that day. It's now 9 a.m., okay? Doorbell rings. I'm in my robe. I'm in my pajamas. And I go to, a lot of times they come in nightmares. They'll start to ease sometimes. Lucky. So I go to open the door. And it's the carpet cleaner guy. And he's like, hey, I'm in the area. I figured I would just stop in and do your carpets early. To some people, this is normal. Like, they're like, oh, okay, no problem. To me, I started like panicking. My heart was beating out of my chest. And the reason why is because he had silverish hair, gray silver hair. He had a mustache and he was like a huskier guy. He resembled exactly what my uncle had, features of my uncle. And it was one of those moments that I was like having the worst anxiety in my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, he's going to hurt me. He's going to try to rape me. He's over here to seriously like do something to me today. I don't feel comfortable. This is not okay. And I started talking myself into this panic, okay? And this was only a couple months ago. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go upstairs. And at this point, like, I'm in my room, I'm in my pajamas. I'm like, I got to get out of my clothes. Like, I have to put clothes on. Like, I don't look presentable. This is bad. Like, I want to be fully dressed. I'm flipping out, okay? Not to mention this feeling in my stomach that I want to throw up at this point. So I'm trying to act normal. I'm like, okay, you just start the carpets here. I'm going to go upstairs. I'll be right back down. And so I hear him like asking me questions. Like, he's downstairs and he's trying to be nice and small talk. And some people are totally nice and small talk. But I'm telling you, they're scars, and these scars will never go away. Never, never. You can heal, but those scars will always be there. And he's asking like, so what do you do for a living? And then I'm like, oh my God, dare tell him what I do, that I do women's parties? No, this is bad. This is going to put me on a radar. Like, absolutely not. And then he's like, hey, I saw your truck out there. What's Pure Romance? And I'm freaking out. So I'm dressing myself. I'm trying not to like talk to him. Then I called John, and I'm like in a panic. And I'm like, John, listen, if anything happens to me, this is the company. This is who's here right now. Like, I'm having a moment. I'm freaking out right now. And he was like, it's probably just normal. They're probably just being nice, trying to have small talk with you. I'm like, I know, but he has features of my uncle, and it's giving me a flashback, and I don't like it, and it's freaking me out. Long story short, John talked me off the edge. Thank God for people who know your story. They can talk you off the edge. And I got dressed, and so he's like, just stay on the phone with me. Just say you have an important phone call. So I did. I'm like, hey, I have an important phone call coming in. I got to take this. And so I'm on the phone, and I'm like watching out like my bedroom door, peeking at him, making sure he's still cleaning the carpets. And it ended up being completely fine. He cleaned the carpets. He was fine. Normal person. But I'm telling you, you will have flashbacks, and you will have them for years and years to come. This happened to me in 8th grade. And here I am 31 years old, and I still have moments where if somebody resembles somebody, I'll do a double take. And it just gives me anxiety. And this man who did this to me, one of the men, because there's more than one situation in my book that I was sexually abused, the one man, he's long dead. He died of cancer years ago. So it's not even that I would run into him anymore. But I'm telling you, it is painful. And I don't want you to think that you're going to be healed and never think about it again. That makes you normal, okay? So if you've experienced sexual abuse, it's normal to always have flashbacks. But you have to be able to have a moment of having somebody to reach out to. And that goes with making sure that you have proper counseling. If you don't have proper counseling, I promise you, you're like me. I did not have counseling for it. Nobody put me in counseling. So trying to be an 8th grader, dealing with all of this on my own, and having someone who kept telling me I was a liar and I was a liar and I was a liar and this didn't happen, it was hard. It was really hard. So what I used was my friends, and that is who was my rock back then. And now, as adults, like, I allowed my partner to know like what happened to me. So don't keep these things a secret. So part of healing is telling and not keeping it silent. So I want you to make sure, and I'm like writing my notes of where I like wrote this down. So if you keep it a secret, you are seriously preventing yourself from moving on. Find one person that you can go talk to, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner. You need somebody in your moment of weakness, because you will have moments of weakness. You need somebody to talk you off that, edge when you're freaking out, to bring your anxiety back down. Whether it's to say, you're going to be okay. I got you. Like, everything's fine. Like, that day with the cleaner, it was John. Had I had kept that a secret from him because it happened in 8th grade, I would not have known what to do. I probably would have been in a full-blown panic attack. You need somebody. Don't keep it a silent. Do not keep it a silent at all, okay? It is proven that if you keep it a secret, you are the one that is going to live in your cell, that you're building yourself up this wall that you're never going to be able to build down. So if you're trying to seriously move on, it will prevent you from moving on if you have it a secret. So find somebody you trust to tell that secret to. You will feel like a weights are lifted off your shoulders. Okay, I want you to remember this quote. Courage does not always roar. Sometimes it's that little voice at the end of the day that says you'll try again tomorrow. So when it's fresh and it just happened to you and you've dealt with the sexual abuse and you're still healing from it, and it's very, very real still to you in your mind and in your head and your reality, it's okay for you to know that you'll try again tomorrow, okay? Don't beat yourself up if your healing process isn't as quick as other people. You'll heal as long as you're doing the steps it takes to make sure you're healing every day. So if you're having the flashbacks, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling like, you're in a state of confusion and you're not sure how you're going to move on, courage does not always roar. Courage sometimes is just saying, you know what, I tried. I'm getting a little closer every day, and I'm going to try again tomorrow. So sometimes if you just be that little voice that says, I'm going to try again tomorrow, then you have courage. So I need you guys to also know that when you're sexually abused, honestly, it's like broken glass. And if you try to put broken glass together with glue, yes, it will go back together. Things will be able to be held in it. However, there will always still be cracks in that. There's still areas of that broken glass, like a vase you put together, that are still fragile. And put under pressure, it's going to break easier. Just like that moment I had of a flashback a couple months back I just told you. So seriously, you have to be able to know that you are glass and you are broken, but you're able to be put back together. And knowing that you have the glue, your body, everything has everything it needs to build and heal and put your vase back together. But do know that you will always be cracked and damaged, but you can be beautiful again. You can make a glass beautiful again, but know that there's still spots. So you're never going to be healed forever. They will always be scars, and those scars are normal. Now, I also want you to know that I don't want you to live as a victim, and I don't want you to live as a survivor. And people are like, what? A survivor? Leanne, I am a survivor. I don't want you to live as a victim, because you're not a victim. Like, a victim holds everything in. They can't move on past it. They have severe flashbacks every day. It tampers on their everyday life, okay? A survivor is just getting by. You're better than being a survivor. Be a thriver. Thrive. Use your story to inspire other people that you can move on. I want you to thrive from that hurtful situation, and it's possible. Look at me. It's possible. You can do that, okay? The other thing I need you to know is that do not allow whoever abused you to control how you're living, how you're feeling, and your emotions. They are not worth it. Do you understand me? They are not worth 1 ounce to take away your happiness. They have already done so much to you. Do not let them hold the power to your happiness, to you being able to thrive in your own life, and to your healing. Don't let them take 1 ounce of anything else from you. You've got to pick up your pieces. You've got to figure out what steps it's going to take you to heal, whether it's counseling, whether it's trusting in somebody, whatever it is. Do not let them hold that power. Take back your power. You deserve it. It happened to you. You now have that power. Take that power back and use it for good use. Okay. And there is something else I wanted to tell you that I wrote down. Okay. Healing does not mean that the damage never happened. So when I say, oh, you can heal from this, I'm not saying that that damage did not happen. It means that the damage that you have suffered no longer controls your life and your emotions. Do you understand? So you are a thriver now. It's okay to have flashbacks. It's okay to have moments of weakness. It's okay to be sad and depressed, but you're going to thrive from that. You're going to take those moments and you're going to grow from them. And you're going to take back your power, and you are going to make yourself proud. Make others proud around you. Now, healing does not mean, I repeat this again, that the damage did not happen. It happened. You are human. You're healing from this every single day, and it might take the rest of your life. I will tell you this also. There are times that, like some people, like when you're in a relationship, you can have pillow fights and things like that. I cannot. If I'm having a pillow fight and a pillow goes over my face to tease me, or to play around and playful fighting like spouses and relationships do, I will have a moment of weakness, and that moment of weakness, and it's an instant flashback, and I can't handle it. Because my flashback was having a pillow over my face, not being able to breathe, and praying that this was going to be over soon, and that I wasn't going to have my throat slit if I screamed. So I cannot have a pillow on my head. And I know that there's some people who have gone through sexual abuse. There are triggers, and a pillow is one of my triggers. So there's a lot of triggers that you might experience in life, and that just means, once again, it's not because there wasn't damage. There's damage, and there will always be damage. But you know what? You're going to take back your power, and you're going to move on from that damage. And you're going to find that one person that you can trust. There's somebody out there that you can trust. And when you find that one person that you can just share your story, so when you're having a moment of weakness, they get you, that's powerful, okay? So I wanted to share this moment with you, and I hope that some of these words help you understand that I don't want you to be the victim. I don't want you to be a survivor. I want you to be a thriver. It's possible. It's possible. Do not keep it a silent. There is power in getting it out. The more you hold it inside, the more you're letting them, the person who hurt you, control your emotions, and they're not worth it. They are not worth it. They've already done the damage. Fix yourself. You got the glue. Put yourself back together. Will you always have cracks in you? Absolutely, just like I do. Will you have moments of weakness? Absolutely. Will you always do good under pressure? Probably not. But you know what? You are a thriver. You're not a survivor and you're not a victim. You are a thriver. You are alive. You're put on this earth for a purpose. So go out there and find your purpose. Your purpose might be to go share your story so somebody else can heal from it. God never gives you anything you can't handle. And if he's given you a lot, it must mean he thinks you are badass. And there is a reason that everything has happened to you. So it might be that your story is going to be a testimony that somebody needs to hear to be able to talk themselves off a ledge. That somebody needs to hear that is suffering so bad they can't move past it. But to see that somebody so similar had such a similar situation they can move past it, I'm telling you, that's powerful. So take your story and be a thriver. Take that story and own it. You own everything that happened to you. Just like last week, if people wanted you to talk warmly about them, they should have behaved fucking better. How about that? They should have behaved better if people wanted you to talk warmly about them. These people who hurt you, they don't deserve for you to talk warmly about them. Go share your stories. You own everything that has happened to you. Go be a thriver. So I hope you guys loved my message today. If you loved my message today, comment below a 3. I actually already did. Comment below a 4. 4. We already did 3. 3 was if you were a victim of sexual abuse. You've experienced it. 4, if you loved my message, you think it might help somebody else, comment below a 4. If you want to share my video, I love when people share my videos, so feel free to share. And if you don't have my book yet, comment below a 5. If you don't have my book yet, comment below a 5. So it's kind of getting juicy. We're in middle school right now. A lot has happened so far. If you have my book already and you've read my book, comment below a number 5. So if you have read my book, comment below. Okay. All right. So I want to know who's read it. So comment below. Tell me, have you read my book yet? Are you still waiting to read it? Do you still need an autographed copy? What do you need? So I got some copies I got to sign. So if you need a copy, let me know. But I wrote this book because I have so much that I wanted to share. People look at me now and they're like, gosh, you're so successful, Leanne. You know, you have it so lucky. You know, you're so lucky to have everything you have. I'm not lucky. I have worked for every single thing I have in life. I have overcome a lot of things that so many other people have overcome that they use as crutches in their life or excuses of why they can't move forward. I have been at the bottom of the bottom. I have been through so much stuff, guys. I've been through physical abuse. I've been through sexual abuse more than once. I've been through the mental abuse. I've been through, you know, the being poor. I've been through the highs and the lows and feeling like I don't belong and finding my niche. I've been through all of it. So if there's one thing I want to tell you, you can do it. You can rise above any circumstance that is in your life. You hold the pen to your future. So it's just when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you're going to see a difference. So whether that is you feeling sorry for yourself, whether that is you feeling like you can't move on for something, you're stuck. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's where magic happens. Okay? All of you guys are magical. And I wish nothing but happiness for each and every one of my viewers because I know you can do it. And I will always be your biggest cheerleader. So if you need somebody to cheer you on and tell you that you can do it, vote for me. I will sign you up. I will be your #1 cheerleader. So if you need somebody just to believe in you, somebody just to bounce off of, you need somebody to just tell your story to because you don't trust anybody, and I told you guys to go share your stories of your sexual abuse if it makes you heal better, I will totally be that 100% confidential person if you need somebody. So I truly believe every person needs somebody to talk to. And if you don't have that person yet to talk you off of a ledge, vote for me. I've been there, I've done it, and I will help you out of that dark place. You guys, I want you to be thrivers, not survivors, and not victims. If you're just tuning in, go back and watch from the beginning. I hope that this message was not too dark for you, but it's real. It's a real message that I think women need to hear because so many people have faced sexual abuse, and I think that I just needed to share this message with you. And I hope that all of you, those who have, have a better connection with what I told you tonight. So go thrive because you're worth it. Okay? Have a fantastic rest of your night. Bye, guys.